Hey, so welcome. My name is Deja A. Ross, and if this is your first time watching my video, I am an actor and creative living in New York City. I thought it would be cute if I just went through my history of how I got my New York agent. I know it's a lot of information out there. There's so many videos that you can watch about getting an agent, but I just thought it would be fun to share how your girl got represented in New York City. The first time I got an agent, period, was when I lived in Chicago. I had just gotten an agent right after I finished my undergrad college, and so then I went through this process of trying to decide if I wanted to go to graduate school. And so eventually I went to graduate school, and it felt like I was starting over from zero because my Chicago agent did not represent anybody in New York City or outside of that particular market. It can be kind of daunting when you just don't know where to start, especially coming from a smaller market like Chicago to a bigger market like New York City. So this is just my personal journey. There's no one way to get an agent, honestly, despite what some videos might say. This is just throwing it out there. This is just the things that I've experienced, the things that I learned along the way on my journey, and what I did to try to secure an agent. And honestly, some of these things that I'm gonna list, I did them, but they may not be the exact thing that got my agent, if that makes sense. One of the first things that you want to do before even trying to get an agent is to make sure that you have the training. No agent wants to represent an actor that has no clue what they're doing when they get a script. You know, when the auditions come in, you honestly don't have that much time. Agents want to know that they can trust you and that you have a process and that you have training to deliver, because essentially the agent is pitching you to casting to make sure that, you know, they're doing their job right and that they can see you in that role, and that they're hoping that casting and the producers and the directors can trust you with that role on set. So make sure you get into some classes. You know, New York is full of so many spaces that you can train in. You want to make sure that your clips are representative of your type. And what I mean by type is, can you play the young mom? Can you play the detective? Can you play the serial killer? And understanding where you fit in that show or in that movie that you dream of being in. Make sure that you get clips, do student films, do independent films, and like, honestly, they may not really be that great, but make sure that, you know, we can see you, it's clear, we can hear you. With the indie stuff and with the student films, it can be kind of rough to get the footage, but always just be on them about getting that stuff, and make sure you cut them down into smaller clips for Actors Access. So make sure that you have a larger demo reel, and then make sure that you also upload them to Actors Access and labeling them correctly, so agents can see your Actors Access profile and say, oh, this person has really strong clips. I can submit them for Law and Order. I can submit them for another procedural show. Another thing that I did was making sure that I had a resume that reflected my work. I did not want to lie on my resume. I wanted to make sure that my resume fit, that I let them know that I am SAG eligible. I didn't want to rule myself out by joining SAG too soon, and I may do another video on that. I did get headshots that were very clear on the types that I wanted to play. I looked at the shows in my market and understood what shows were being cast for my types and for the areas that I can audition in, which is the East Coast, and I can also audition for shows in Chicago because I do have a Chicago agent out of college. So I pretty much looked at the shows and saw that there's a lot of procedurals that are filmed in the East Coast, Chicago, and so I looked at that and was like, well, I can play the young professional, the young lawyer. So I got a headshot to reflect that. I got a headshot because I want to do some more lighthearted comedy, also commercials that are a little bit more lighthearted And so I got a headshot to reflect that type. And then I was looking at some of the serious shows that I want to work on. I want to be out here on The Walking Dead or on the Last of Us. I want to be on The Last of Us. So I got a headshot to kind of like reflect that grittiness of those type of shows. I think having those headshots helped my agent be very clear on the type of roles that they can submit me for. The next thing that I did to help me get a New York agent was research, 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 girl. So I was out here watching these shows, like I said, to figure out where I fit in on these shows, but I was also watching these shows to see who was working, who was booking the roles, who was out here getting it. From everyone from the two-liners to the top of show. I created an IMDb Pro. You can make an IMDb Pro, and I would research who these people were and who they were represented by. And so I would look through the agent's website. I would see if they had too many of my types. Some agents had similar types or not enough of my types. And so that gave me an idea of the type of agents that I can submit to. The Facebook group that really helped me is called TMFA. It is Talent Managers for Actors, and it was created by Wendy Elaine Wright, who is a manager. She literally, some of this information that I'm saying, honestly, y'all, she helped me so much with understanding the industry when I first started getting out of the school phase and going into the business phase of the entertainment industry. She's the real one. And on that page, sometimes they would post, oh, I'm currently opening up my roster. I'm looking for particular actors. They would post their contact information. They would post their email. So definitely join that Facebook group if you aren't already a part of that group. Another thing that I did is I took workshops. Now, I know some people feel a little iffy about this. Listen, I get it, because you are paying money. It is kind of like a pay to play game where you're paying your money and not really going to get solid results because you can't bank on this at all. So I would pay for different workshops with different agencies to do a monologue or do a scene so they can see my work, and we'll have a conversation, and then hopefully it would lead to having a meeting and getting represented. Now, I attended a few. Some of them did not go how I wanted them to go. Girl, we'll do another story time for some of those meetings. But one of the agencies that I was able to really connect with, I had seen that they were looking for talent for their commercial department on the Facebook group that I was telling y'all about. I saw that they were also doing a workshop, and I signed up. I performed a monologue. At the end, we were able to have a conversation, and like a week later, we met for an interview. After the interview, they offered me a contract. And so it is a helpful thing despite having to pay your money to do it. I think it can be worth it for sure. Another thing that I did, like I told y'all, right, that I would go look on IMDb Pro to see who was out here being represented by who. Once I would go to those websites, some agencies, they do have self-submission tabs on their website when you can just submit your materials. I did that and submitted for a few agents, and I was able to hear back from some agencies. I had some meetings. Next thing you know, I'm submitting, and then I did get signed. I did get signed from submitting from a agency just through their website. Some of the agencies, they don't necessarily take unsolicited emails or cold submissions, but a lot of them do. A lot of them do, especially if you're looking at the smaller agencies. A lot of the larger agencies, they don't take cold submissions. I mean, that didn't stop me a few times. I definitely was like, oh girl, I'm gonna send you this email. You might not read it, but I'm gonna send it to you. I would not recommend that, but you know, I'm a little bold with it. Network, talk to your actor friends, figure out who they're represented by. Some agencies, they do take referrals. If you got an actor friend, you know, now don't use them. But if you guys have a good enough relationship, you know, and they offer, by all means, take it, girl. After you do a combination of these things and you are able to get through to an agent, they'll invite you to an agency meeting. It'll pretty much just be them getting to know you, you getting to know them, and seeing if it's a good fit. From that meeting, usually it'll either be a yes or a no. So that is some of the things that I did to get a New York City agent. If you have any questions or comments, if there's anything that you want to know, please leave a comment below. Also, if you do have an agent, tell me how you got your agent. I want to know, because I know there's so many different ways that people can get agents. So let me know, drop it in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video.